Welcome, Miss Tony. How are you? Moji J. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I didn't see Blake or Free God live, but getting off soon. Okay. This is a show, right? Yeah, it'll start in 1 minute. Thank you. Thank you for the love, Bear. Love Princess, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm waiting to see if Blake and Fairy Godmother comes in. Stop. I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you for asking. And we'll give it a couple of minutes. Molly, how are you? Sure. Shadow, there's my admin. More people in my box. Can I turn it off? I think you can. Yeah, I don't know for sure, Molly. Pink, how are you? Can remove it. Oh, I forgot I even had it up. There's Blake. How are you, Blake? Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait, Blake. Thank you, Pink. I'm waiting on Fairy Godmother. Come on, go, go. Cuddles, welcome. Fairy Godmother, yes. As soon as I see her, I'll kick off. Oh, yeah. Hot cross buns, welcome. No, that's Miss Tawny. Isn't it? Can anybody see if Fairy Godmother's on? Thank you. Why not? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Blake. Thank you, Molly. Yeah, somebody could see if she's on. All right, man. How are you? Oh, hey, Kelly. Tapachula, welcome. I'm just waiting on Fairy Godmother. There she is. So, Moji Joe, if you were ready, I'll go ahead and kick off. You guys, if you're just coming in, thank you. If you're just coming in, I'm your host, Wild West. This is my show, What Would You Do? I put out different scenarios. This week I've kind of changed it up from my regular scenario. Usually I do like in the business world, give you how would you how would you handle an employee? How would you do this? What would be your advice? How would you approach the situation? And this week I'm going to do based off relationships. So if you don't know, this is my show. It's every Thursday night, 8 p.m. And I want to introduce my first guest, which fairy godmother.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. If you want to tell a little bit about yourself and any experience with relationships, how are you doing?
I'm 64. I have lots of experience with relationships.
I'm totally interested in this. Tell us a little bit about your stream.
Sorry?
Just tell us a little bit about your stream.
I do comedy. I actually started streaming September 1st last year because I broke my back horseback riding last year in Ireland, and I was bored to death because I couldn't move for almost 2 months. And I have a theater background. My daughter's a professional actor in England, so that's the theatrics. And I do some stand-up comedy. So I thought that, that would be a good thing. So we talk about all kinds of things in my stream. I am not your mama's godmother.
That's why you sent me the message if it was okay. So I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So we actually, am I allowed to say, just got featured for my show, Two Truths and a Lie. And so I'm very excited today. It's at 6 p.m. on Mondays, Eastern Standard Time. And it's hilarious. 2 teams pitch themselves against each other, and each team has to make 3 statements. 2 of them are true and 1's a lie, and they have to spot the lie. And points go to whoever. If the liar succeeds, they get the point. If not, the team. And I have 2 very highly competitive captains that actually plant stuff out there in the app that isn't true and try to catch each other. So it's good fun. It's good fun.
Okay, let me introduce my next guest, Blake Premier.
Do you want me to leave?
No. Stay in.
Okay.
Yeah, the top badge, Blake Premier. He's been a good friend. He's helped me out a lot.
Yo.
How are you, Blake? Tell us a little bit about yourself, brother.
Yeah, well, congrats, Fairy Godmother. Yeah, I started this app like 3.5 years ago, and one of the first things I did was like go after a featured show. It was one of the first like featured shows back 3.5 years ago. So I know all the effort it goes into having a featured show. So congrats. Yeah, I'm a streamer that started in the pandemic. So part of that wave of people who were at home doing nothing, and this app was just such a savior because it allowed us to connect and meet new people and really, have a social life when we were stuck at home. So I have a very positive relationship with this app because it came at this time in my life where I really needed it.
Hi, Blake.
Hey, nice to meet you.
So you got anything going on, Blake?
So right now, one of the things I do, I'm being consistent with that. My boy DJ, your boy, one of the best DJs on the app. Wild West was part of it. We do a fave party every Wednesday. We like to have guests and keep it light and fun. That's probably one of the more consistent things I'm doing at the moment. Other than that, anytime you see me live, it's going to be fun and good vibes and just a good time.
DJ's been on my show.
Oh, love that dude.
Yeah, he was great.
So let's get kicked off with the first scenario, right? The first scenario, and Fairy Godmother, I'll give you the first chance to answer. Maybe I should let Blake, after your IG you sent me.
Let him go first.
Uh-oh. What is this question? All right.
So after dating for a couple of weeks, you make plans for you and your partner to meet your best friend. Afterwards, your friend pulls you to the side and explains that they don't like that partner. What would you do? How would you handle that?
You know, I've been actually in that position in real life, and it ended up being they were right, and we're seeing things that I didn't see. But that was after I was dating someone for like a year, so like that was fair. I don't know, 2 weeks. You're still getting to know that person. I would just be, if your best friend had some thoughts, I would be conscious of them. So I'd be like, okay, like I'm still gonna, especially if you're vibing with that person, I would continue to do that. But it definitely would be like, all right, I'm gonna be aware of some of the stuff they said to see if I can find those same things. But yeah.
So what if you didn't agree with that partner? How would you handle that? Or would
If I didn't agree with, if I didn't agree with my friend, or if I didn't agree with
your best friend?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I probably would disagree because I'm vibing with this person, you know? So I probably would just be like, hey, like I'm going to continue this relationship, but I will take what you said into account.
How would you? What about you, Fairy?
Well, I've been married 3 times and lived common law once. My 7-year-old daughter warned me about the second marriage. Said, don't do it. And yeah, I didn't listen. So obviously I don't take advice well. I think saying, you know, I would take the listen and do what I wanted to anyway. Obviously I did. And it didn't turn out well. So otherwise, other than those relationships, I've been single for 3 years and I've never dated anyone longer than 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah, it's hard to date in this environment, but so I don't lately stay in a relationship long enough for anyone to judge me anyhow or judge the person. It's so hard these days right now, honestly. I got a dick pic yesterday in my IG. You know, that's as close as dating I get.
Wow.
Seriously. And then he had the nerve to come in my stream.
I think when I met my wife, my best friend told me to stay away. I stayed married to her 11 years. And I went to my best friend. I said, you were right. I wasted 11 years.
Yeah, that's how I felt about the third marriage.
Yeah, he saw traits that I just didn't pick up on, but she wasn't like that around me. She was like that around other people.
And mine was stupid all the time.
Yeah. So it was yeah. I went and thanked him. I took him out for beers afterwards once it was done.
Right.
Once again, guys, I'm the host, Wild West. This is my show, What Would You Do? Tonight we're doing relationship scenarios. My show is every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I want to welcome Fairy Godmother and Hot Badge Blake to the show, and we'll go on to the next scenario. I've got 4 tonight, and I've got some fun relationship questions afterwards, too. So I didn't show those to you guys. I sent you everything.
I didn't even know we were talking about relationships. I
didn't either.
But I'm in, man. I support whatever you did not.
NorCal told me to change it up a little.
I got totally different questions than that.
Oh, did you? Did they send? Oh, they may have sent wrong.
It's okay. This is better.
Yeah. Your partner talks about their ex a lot. they have assured you that 100% they're over the relationship and would never get back with them, but the topic keeps coming up. How would you handle that topic?
Red flag. I completely agree with Molly. That is a humongous red flag. So yeah, I here's the thing. I think I statements are really good. So if you can talk in I statements, like, saying like every time we discuss something, like your ex is bringing it up and it makes me feel uncomfortable. And I would just explain that. And then if that person didn't like adjust or change, I'd be like, okay, clearly there's something much deeper than the surface. And yeah, I'm one of those people that I do have an issue if things become serious. If like the woman I'm dating is continuously talking to her ex, like I do think that's a red flag, and like truthfully just something that makes me uncomfortable.
Barry?
Yeah, red flag, I'm gone. No, I'm serious, because in all fairness to them, they're not ready to date someone else. They haven't gotten over the ex. So why waste my time? It's like, if you're ready, call me whenever. And if I'm available, maybe, but nah, I don't stick around if I've made it. I'm pretty quick to go, yeah, no, I don't see this working. We're not a match. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I went on some dates, way back in probably September or so, meeting on POF, right? And went out on some dates, and they were just nonstop talking about their ex. And it's like, I didn't want to come here to have this type of conversation, right?
I'll say this: sometimes people aren't aware. That's why I'm saying. That's why if you express your feelings and how it's impacting you, and then they don't adjust, that's something. But some people are maybe unaware of how affected they really were from a past relationship. So I give them the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, if I express how it's making me feel uncomfortable and it's not something that I feel great about, and then they continue, then I have an issue.
Yeah, and I found myself when I first started dating again after divorce, I found myself doing that, right? And I'm like, why did I even say that? Why did they even say that? But you get so emotionally attached to somebody. You spend a lot of time. You dedicated your time to them that you don't even think about it. It's second nature. That's what you've always done. So yeah, I've seen it and I've done it, right? And
I've done it too. Yeah.
It's really not fair to the person that's giving you their time right now. So yeah, that is something I think we all do. I think it's just nature being in love with somebody and caring about somebody. So yeah, before I go to my third, I'm gonna plug my show one more time. I'm your host, Wild West. This is my show, What Would You Do? We twisted it up a little bit with the relationships conversations instead of business conversations. So this show is every Thursday night, 8 Eastern time. Please come by if you want to be a guest on the show. Shadows, my admin in the box, or you can contact myself. My IG's in my profile. So let's hit the third question. Your partner always makes fun of you in front of people. I've seen this, right? In attempt to make everyone else laugh, you don't think much of it to begin with, but it soon becomes a regular occurrence. How would you handle that?
You want to go first, Barry?
Yeah, I've had that happen to me, like demeaning, and I called them out on it, and it never stopped. And I just basically said, F you, I'm not going to put up with that kind of stuff. It's their issue, not mine. So kick them to the curb.
Correct. Yeah.
I do a lot of kicking to the curb.
Well, you should be picky. You definitely
I'm very picky. Yeah. So yeah, no, I would not tolerate that. It's abuse. It's mental abuse.
I've seen it, and I pulled somebody aside, and I'm like, maybe once they make a joke or something like that is funny, but when it happens 2, 3, 4 times in front of your friends and people that respect you, it's not funny anymore.
You don't hurt the ones you love.
Correct. Yeah. I've absolutely seen that. Blake, I'm gonna give you a chance.
Yeah, no, I mean, my dream is to have a high five relationship. Actually, I'm not settling for anything less than that. Like, I want us to be like a fun couple, supportive. We're like, yeah, I want to high five whoever my partner's gonna be, like, quite a bit. And yeah, that means the world to me. And so I wouldn't settle for less than that. So yeah, it just wouldn't work. Like, again, I would bring it to their attention, give it benefit of the doubt if it happened once. And just say, hey, like when you were saying, things that kind of like put me down, it really made me feel like, this was not the relationship I was looking for. And I'd express it. And then, yeah, if it happened again, I'd be like, okay, like this is not my dream right now. Like I'm out.
You're far too nice, Blake.
Well, I give people the benefit of the doubt if it happens once. But then if they know that they're hurting me with their actions, and then they continue it, that's like another level of, okay. Like
when you're my age, you don't have time to waste.
Yeah, I'm kind of, and my next part of the question is, would you handle it in front of those friends, or would you pull that person aside and have that conversation?
I'm all about the vibe. So if the vibe, if everyone is very uncomfortable at the table, I would probably make a joke to like, I still want the energy of everyone around us to be good. And then, yeah, I would obviously try to pull her to the side and say something, but I wouldn't stoop down to her level. So just because she did something that I think is inappropriate, like I'm not going to then retaliate and do something that like, I don't know, like ruins the energy of everyone we're with. That's just my stance, but Fairy may say I'm too nice.
No, Fairy?
Yeah, I'd say fuck you in a funny way.
No, Fairy, I have no problem with that.
In a funny way, like at the table, I would give them the big F you because it's like letting everybody know I'm not gonna let this asshole walk all over me. Because yeah.
But I tend to agree with I tend to agree the way Blake would do it because it's vibes, right? But that I can tell you when that occurs, they do change the vibes in that setting.
The vibe's already screwed because it's gonna make everybody feel uncomfortable. If you're a human being
Yeah.
with feelings, yeah.
I'll say this: if I was at a dinner or whatever, and Fairy said, I would be pumped. So yeah, I think you would do it in a way that that's like actually like a good time. So yeah.
Well, I've seen it. The last girl I dated, every time I talked to her, it was long distance, right? She was in another city in the U.S. And every time I talked to her, she made a joke about me with somebody else.
That's insecurity, right?
Yeah, I said, look, the first time it's funny, haha, I laughed it off. Yeah, but every time I talk to you, you bring it up. It gets a little old, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm dedicating time to you.
Yeah.
If I had time if I had time for something else, I would. So have you guys seen that type of thing? Somebody bring up their joke is you being with somebody else, a jealousy type.
Not too much. I mean, I definitely can. I could see that happening, and I agree with Molly. That would be a red flag. But yeah, luckily I haven't run into that one too much.
Yeah, neither have I.
I've seen it. The last person I dated, it was constant like that, and it was started to get really annoying, and it started bringing that tension that I didn't even want to talk to her anymore because I knew the first thing that was going to be brought up. Right, I already knew where the conversation was going to go. It wasn't even hello. It's who you've been with, that type of thing. Yeah, and it makes it very uncomfortable. It makes it where you don't even want to talk to that person. You may care the world about them, but yeah. But it was better after that initial conversation. It was better conversation, but it was that initial conversation I hated.
Did you tell her?
Yeah.
And what did she say?
Told her multiple times, and she kept doing it.
Yeah. Peace. Call Fairy Godmother if that happens. Yeah. Fairy can handle it. Yeah.
This is a weapon as well.
So, all right. I'll go ahead and hit the show, plug the show again. This is your host, Wild West. My show is What Would You Do? It's tonight. It's a
Excuse
twist with
me.
relationships. So it's every Thursday night from 8 p.m. Eastern. So I've got Fairy Godmother. I've got Top Badge Blake. We're talking about different scenarios, and I will go ahead and I've got actually 5 scenarios. I'll hit my 4th scenario. Your partner has zero drive and ambition. They have a job, but no desire to work towards a promotion or bettering themselves, and they just seem very lazy. What would you do?
I think Fairy and I'll say this, are going to have a disagreement. Do you want to go first, Fairy, or me?
No, you go right ahead.
All right. I might be alone on this island. I have a list but this is, I think that's we'll get into it. I think it's a very personal thing. I have a list of things that mean the world to me. You know, is this person really awesome and like fun to be around is my number one. Vibe check is like number one. Am I attracted to them? Like, are they kind? Do they have some spiritual belief, and stuff like that? If they hit all of that, for just Blake though, just for me, ambition is low for me. And I don't know. I just want to be with someone who's super cool. I'm attracted to, like, we have a great energy around us. When we're out in public, people are like, oh, you guys are a great couple. Like, that's the stuff that matters to just me personally. And so for me, drive and ambition, for me is really, really low. I could be with someone who really is, quote unquote, a bit on the lazier side in terms of their career, but in terms of who they are, the person they've made themselves into, I'm so attracted to them as a person. But that's just me.
Well, guess what, Blake? I agree with you.
Oh, okay. Some people get so mad at me for that.
And it's funny because humor is huge for me. If they can make me laugh, they got my attention. And I do. I have a list that, check those boxes. And also because of my age, well, like, I don't really date guys my own age because, they have to take Viagra most of the time. So, I'm still probably going to date somebody that's nearing retirement or whatever. So I don't care. That part is like right at the bottom. There's other things that are way more important.
Look at us. Wow, Wes, I promise you, if you asked a lot of people that, I think we're in a minority opinion on this, because I've had this discussion and people have like wholeheartedly disagreed with me. Yeah.
I think it'd be different if I was younger, a lot younger. Then, a guy one of my husbands was a lazy ass, and it got to me. So I'm in a different place now where it's not that important.
You know what though? I will throw this one out, Wild West, because for me, okay, so ambition side financially is not. But you know what? You bring up a good point, because for me, social is important, because I want a couple where we're socially going out. So you're right, that could be an issue. And I think I've never thought about it. But if she's like always like, no, I don't want to go out, I just want to stay at home. You're right. That could be an issue, because like I want to go out with my partner and I want to do fun stuff and be social. Yes. So that would be the biggest issue for me. If it was someone who just really always wanted to stay home and never go out and do stuff, that could be something that could tear us apart, to be honest.
Yeah, well, that's one of my boxes, right? They have to be active and love the outdoors, and So, but ambition, I think, is very broad, but. Yeah. And they also have to be financially secure. I'm not supporting any lazy ass.
Wait, okay, Fairy. See, that's what we're talking about, though. So again, if you met a guy that had everything that you were talking about, but throughout his life, he owned a business, lost all of his money, and like all this stuff, that would be potentially a deal breaker. If he was not.
It would be a huge deal breaker. I've supported 2 husbands. One I lost $500,000 on.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So they got to be financially secure, because they're not moving in.
Okay, so that's where I have a different take, but I'm not saying because I so understand where fair. Oh my God, I understand why she would say that. For me, again, I can meet someone. She could do any job. I don't care. Like she could be a waitress. She could be whatever. Like I don't care. She could be going paycheck to paycheck. If over time I see that she's a great person, she treats others well. I love being around her. She could have a penny to her name, and I would be so pumped to date her.
So you would support her?
But you're right. Like I guess I would have to end up supporting. Like I wouldn't want to be with.
You would.
It's true. I guess I wouldn't want to be with someone who's like puts me in a position where I have to like pay their rent or get them groceries or something like that. I mean, that you're right. That would be like,
or they want to move in after the third date.
Okay, that would be a red flag.
I have those.
You're right. You're right. I wouldn't want them to have the savior or like. I hate saying the words. I'm not going to say the D word, but the daddy thing. Like I wouldn't want that.
Who's your daddy?
Like I don't want that.
Sugar daddy. Yeah, I totally
right.
get that.
But again, I'm just saying if it was someone that could, whatever they lived in situation and was not like looking for me to save them, but just didn't, I don't know, hadn't found their love in life career-wise and so just didn't have money, then I guess it's support, but it's more like it's just very low to me on the totem pole or on my like things that matter.
Well, the financial thing for me to do, as I say, it's an age thing. I have assets, I have things that I want to leave to my daughter. I'm not going to have some broke ass guy move in and then try and claim when I kill me off and then claim all my shit. That's I just I don't think I'd even live with somebody again. I've just learned my lesson.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
Unless they're rich, I'm moving with them, and
So I tend to agree. What I really like, I love, having the personality, having somebody make you laugh, having somebody you want to come home to, right? You want to get off work and spend that time with them, go out, have dinner, whatever it is, right? And have the weekends and all that. But I also have a little bit different drive because I strive to be best in my job. I strive to keep, and I think relationships levels. And if one person gets too high up in a level and the other person doesn't strive, it's going to cause friction. That's
what happened in my third marriage.
But with that being said, it's not about being selfish. It's about encouraging each other and pumping each other up and going out there and supporting their goals and then
having your back. Yeah.
How do I make you better? What do I need to do to help you be better? Right. That's what it should all be about.
So for me, my like I said, the number one thing I look for is honestly a love of life. Like that's for me what like matters. But I'm just so like if that person has just a love of life and they're happy and they're like that energy, I'm so pumped to be with them. Again, even if financially, because I know that they're just gonna help me go beyond my biggest dreams. Like I have big dreams in life, I would love to be a host on a TV show one day. I have like hopes like that. So if I could be around someone who has that energy and spark for life, like they can help me achieve my dreams. If they didn't have their own, that's just not something that they have. They just are a really fun, content person. Like they can help me achieve my dreams. So I value that so much.
So what happens when you get your credit card bill and there's been $6,000 racked up on it? And you're like, what the?
No, that speaks to values because I agree. I need someone who's not just has a great zest for life, but also has values. And like, I think about it like the opposite. Like, because I'm also content in myself that I could date someone who's way beyond successful than me. And I'm content that I don't, she could be vice president. She could be president of the United States. I don't mind being in that shadow. But even still, I know I would have that understanding of, okay, like I'm not going to like use all the money she's like, that comes down to values. So I would hope that she would have values as well. So she's not just like taking all the money and like going shopping and doing all that. Like we have an understanding of like the life we're building.
And I have sorry, can I add something? I've run into the problem where they work too hard. like a workaholic, and I'm retired. I want someone who's going to spend time with me, and they just can't. They are into their job. They're really ambitious, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, it's like,
I love that point. That's a really good point. I actually think, oh man, I love ambitious people, but you're right. Someone who has no separation and it's just like all about work, like
no
that's
balance.
Yeah, no balance. Yeah, that can be honestly a negative if they're like, if their ambition is like that's the priority, and
Yet if they are that way, at least if you can talk about it and say, okay, these nights are date nights, and this is your time. You know, find a balance, and you know, do something really special on giving you that time. Then I could handle. Okay, you need to work like 10 hours or whatever, 3 days in a row. You've got something to look forward to. But if they screw me over and don't show up for date night, they're gone.
That's exactly. So K-Baby, because K-Baby is one of my like best friends on here, and she said, I'm married to my career. I'll leave now. That's not what I'm saying. Again, I could date someone like you who's really ambitious, who's doing a really, high-powered job. I could date an executive. Again, she could be president. But at the same time, what Fairy's saying means the most. That she's still, K-Baby, you would still make time for date night and for like going out and like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying we have to go out every night, but like, you know, yeah, exactly. You'd still make the time for us to enjoy life rather than it's like every single Saturday, Sunday, whatever, you're always working, you know, that's when I think it's an issue.
Yeah, and you know, me as a leader at the hospital I work at, right, I pay attention to my employees, and I really pay attention to that work-life balance. If they're working every Saturday and Sunday, right, and they're married with kids, well, you're not going to be happy after a while. You're just not going to be happy.
The wife isn't going to be happy, or the husband.
Right. So I force people, when they go on vacation, they're on vacation. We're not calling them. We're not bothering their family.
Put the phone away, or get off the app.
And you know, when weekends, I don't want my people working on the weekends. That's your time. That's your downtime. Take your downtime, because if you're constantly working like that, you're going to get burned out, and then it's going to affect performance not only at home, but in the job too. Because work-life balance is something I highly, highly stress. I think it's very, very important to take that time when you need to take that time. So
Absolutely.
So I will go to my fifth scenario, and here's one I've kind of talked about it because it's happened to me before. You're out in the town, right, and you see your best friend's girlfriend or best girlfriend's boyfriend out walking with somebody else of the opposite sex. Would you tell your best friend without really knowing the scenario? Right? They could be helping somebody, right? You don't know the scenario, right? So that's the kind of question, because all you're seeing, all you're doing is seeing. You don't know what happened. You don't know what happened prior to that. You definitely don't want to break up a good relationship, right? By going and saying something you know nothing about. I'm just kind of curious of how you would handle it, because I bring the opposite scenario to it. I think my best friend should know, but I don't want to bring it up to the point of where they were doing something wrong, right? But this is what I saw. I'm kind of interested in your opinions.
Fair? You want to go?
Like?
Okay, yeah. So my initial thought is, I mean, life is all about intent. So if one of my good friends like messaged me like, hey, I saw, you know, your girlfriend out like with some guy, just didn't know who it is, just wanted to bring it to your attention. Like for me, I'd be like, you're a great friend, even if like, that's awesome. So like, I think you know, if I did choose to tell my friend, I would hope they know my intent is because I love them and I'm just like bringing up something. So I would hope that they wouldn't get mad at me for like saying something. I would go off, obviously, as common courtesy said, what's the vibe too though? Like, are they holding hands? Are they just together? I mean, if they're just out casually, yeah, but if I saw something like, hey, just so you know, like I saw Carol like vibing with some guy, like, just want to bring it to your attention. Like, I probably would if I saw something that felt out of place, and I would hope they understand my intent is because I love them and I'm just bringing up something I saw.
Right.
So
Yep.
I would take an entirely different approach, and something similar happened to me with my best friend. Her and her husband were going through some rough times. I was staying overnight. I woke up in the morning to him crawling into bed with me and start hitting on me.
Wow.
I've never told her, ever, because I'm glad he hit on me, because we had a talk and I said, this has to stop. You guys need to work some stuff out. But I watched very closely what happened. And I think, if I saw somebody, I might go to the guy or girl who was doing the walking and say, what's going on? If you're screwing around, I'm going to go tell your girlfriend, but you got some splaining to do, Lucy. But yeah, and they are happily married today. They have 3 great kids. They worked out whatever issue was going on in their marriage. And still to this day, I've never told her.
Wow.
So, sometimes it's not good to stick your nose in. It would have started something. It would have ruined our friendship. It would have broken up their marriage. Maybe it wouldn't. Maybe she would have forgiven him, but nothing happened. He just was, I don't know, flexing his wings. I don't know what was going on in their marriage, but I just really watched closely at what went on. And I would have stepped in and told her if I thought, he was starting a pattern of cheating, but he's too freaking lazy. Like, that's why I think he picked on me. We all went to high school together too. So,
wow.
Yeah, it was a really, really tough decision, but looking back now, it was the right one. So who knows, right?
Yeah, I think if I would see it, I would walk up to the person and say, "Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
How's Blake doing?"
Like, you've been caught, asshole.
Oh, yeah.
And I would say, I would hold my hand out, say, "Hey, I'm Wild West. How are you? Nice to meet you." I make them feel, if they're not doing anything wrong, they're not going to feel uncomfortable.
They're going to introduce you, right?
Yeah, they're going to introduce, right? But if they're doing something wrong, it's aha,
I see you.
Yeah, instead of trying to break up a relationship and not know the situation, I think I would approach the issue,
Yeah.
right? I would approach it and be very casual, and say hello and things of that nature. So,
This is 30 years ago, too.
That is a wild story, Faye. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
I know, right? It was a real, and I was there because I was seeing a divorce lawyer for my own stuff. My divorce lawyer was in Vancouver and I live on the island, so I was staying with them, and she worked for the divorce lawyer.
oh wow.
Yeah. So you guys that are the first to ever know. I've never told anybody that story.
Thank you. We guard that.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know her, so.
Wow.
No, because my friends that I'm close to know them, and yeah, no. I will take it to my grave.
Yeah, I'm just very, very careful, especially if I care for somebody and I know they care for that person. I'm just very careful of saying something. I want to tell, right? Your natural instincts tell but I think understanding what's going on in the scenario is how I definitely would approach. Because if I care, about my friend, I'm definitely going to, like I said, if it's not uncomfortable, it's going to be free talk, right? If it's very uncomfortable, you're going to see it. It's going to be pretty obvious.
Well, he did call me later and said, please don't tell. And I said, if you ever pull anything like this, if I find out you've been cheating, then I will go to her. So he goes, no, it's never going to happen again, blah, blah, blah. But I think his wife, I don't know if she knew something was going on with me, but she calls it, we have a love-hate relationship, because obviously it made things a little bit strained. But over 30 years, we're we don't see each other a ton, but
Yeah, and I'll say this, like oftentimes if you're just revealing something to satisfy your own need and but it's like not best for what, like why are you saying something? So I think within your heart you knew, okay, this was something that was just not anything that's gonna be helpful for anything that's going on. And yeah, I give you so much credit for like kind of I don't know, suppressing a need to kind of like talk and bring something. Yeah, that's amazing.
it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you would, here's a twist on the question, right? If you would have found something else happened, and say it was 6 months later, and you finally bring it up to your friends 6 months later, how would they have reacted to that? Because their first thing is, why didn't you say this to me 6 months ago?
And I would explain exactly what I said to you, that I thought that you were having a bump in the road and I was watching out. I hope you could work it out. We're close enough friends. And if it ends the friendship, that's her decision. But I would just beat the shit out of him for her. And
that's fair.
Knowing her, I think she would have forgiven me. Yeah, she knew it was out of love that I did it. Yeah.
Very nice. So I'm going to plug my show. I'm Wild West, your host. If you guys are just joining, this is my show, What Would You Do? I put a little twist on it this week with talking about relationships instead of business. Next week, maybe streaming, and things that happen in the stream. Yeah, I got to come up with this scenario. Like, I'll probably talk to you a little bit about it. Yeah. So, my guest next week is going to be Danny, Top Badge Danny, and Top Badge Jenny, the Queen of Dragons.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. So definitely come by, check it out, have fun. If you got questions or, your answers in the viewers, we encourage that. Definitely, because we'll look at it and talk about it a little bit. So I'm going to go in a little bit easier thing. These are some of the fun questions. I went out there and did some research on fun questions that are out there. Right? If you had one day left to live, what would you do?
What the heck? That's a fun question. That's the worst thing ever. No, it's fine. Oh my God! What the heck?
That's not fun.
That's fun.
Well, my daughter and her family live in England, so I'd get on a plane and go spend it with her, my granddaughter, and die in her arms, whatever, Tell her where the key to the safe deposit box was, give her the will, Yeah. But no, I would just go and spend the day with her. Yeah, that's all I would care about. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely time with family, and then I would do something so extreme like base jumping, skydiving.
You've only got one day.
Exactly. So who cares? Like, I would do something real crazy, like base, anything I've ever scuba diving. Like, I would do some real adventure stuff for a day. Yeah, I would skydive into an ocean where someone's ready with scuba diving gear to go scuba diving.
I could do that. I have my Patty.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I would go real trip, and then of course family time. And then if I'm not married, I would find an ex or someone that I love, and we're making love, and just all the things. And then
bang it out, Blake.
23 hours of that and 1 hour of scuba dive and base jump. Right.
Yeah. Oh my God!
So
it takes me 10 hours to fly to England, so there blows half my day.
Oh yeah. You'd have them fly over. They're waiting for you.
Thing, I'll be waiting for it. Well, yeah, because they come back in time, so it'd be better. Yeah.
Hell, it's got the Mile High Club.
Oh, true. That's a good point. Or scuba dive, or in a submarine. Yeah.
Done that.
Okay, my next question. This one's a little lighter. If you could trade lives
Like,
with
sorry.
someone, you could trade lives with someone, who would it be?
Fairy godmother. Then I'd be a badass bitch. Like, no one would mess with me. That's a good question. Anyone come to mind? I gotta think.
Go ahead, Blake. You're on a roll.
Oh. I don't know. Shoot. Brad Pitt or something? I don't know. Yeah.
He's old.
Oh, like I'm there now, I'm them forever or just for a day?
Let's see. If you could trade lives, it just says trade lives.
Okay. John Mayer.
Who? No, I'm kidding. I know. I love him.
You said you wanted to be a game show host or something like that, a host, right? Bob Barker.
Isn't he dead?
I just threw out a name.
Or Ryan Seacrest. Yeah.
Oh, no.
What about Fairy? Who Fairy godmother? Who you got?
I was trying to think, like, well, it'd be nice to have some extra coin in the bank. So, but I don't think I'd want to be in the public eye. That's the thing.
Okay.
So, yeah, can I be a man? Can I trade lives with a man?
Everyone you want.
Yeah, I don't know. Just some rich guy who owns a big house in England so I can be close to my daughter and I don't know. Like, that's a tough question. I'd have to think on that. But I can't see being a public figure. Paparazzi and all that.
I wouldn't want to be in the public eye either.
No.
Something more
I
like
kind
that.
of like being me. So does Blake, apparently.
Blake. I would be fairy. I'd be fairy godmother.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with my life, so I don't think there's anybody that I would want to trade with, but yeah.
So I'll go, Blake. I know you've got another show you're doing right after mine, and I appreciate your time. So I'm going to ask one more question. Then I'm going to thank everybody and thank the gifters, and then we'll close out a little bit early so you can get to your other show. What are 3 things on your bucket list?
Oh, okay. So yeah, I said that safe base jumping for sure. One day I want to do something very extreme. I would like to go out of this planet at some point. So yeah, I would really like to go to the moon, and then I would love to go to Antarctica.
You're not allowed to.
Wait,
Antarctica? Why Antarctica?
You're not allowed to go. They've got it. It's against the law to go to Antarctica. Did you know that?
Really? Mr. Beast from YouTube land.
Well, you're not allowed. And I dated this conspiracy theorist, and he thinks there's a portal to another world there, and that's why we're not allowed to go.
Well, I would love to see the portal.
And the Earth is flat.
But that's on mine. Yeah, those are mine.
What about you, Fairy?
Yeah, I've always wanted to go kayaking in the Galapagos. So to do a really nice holiday in the Galapagos, I think would be amazing. I scuba dive too, so I would do some diving there. I would really like to take my daughter and her family on a holiday in this area of France. I've been to a few times. I have expat Brit friends in the Dordogne, which I just love. My ancestors are from there. So a really big family holiday, get the gîtes, hang out in that area, eat really well, and have a really wonderful time.
Yeah.
Bucket list. There's a lot of traveling I really want to do. A lot of traveling. I'm not into base jumping. You know you see those things on Facebook where there's like these glass cars hanging on the edge of a cliff and you can dine in them. Hell with a double L, no.
I love that. Yeah.
That's like my worst nightmare, doing something like that. But I can fly a plane.
Oh, wow.
What? You badass. See, that's why I want to be fairy god. You can scuba and you fly a plane.
Yeah, I had to learn when I dated a helicopter pilot. Oh, I could tell you stories, Blake. I dated a search and rescue helicopter pilot who had his own plane, and we used to go in remote areas. It was a little tail dragger, and he made me learn how to land, take off, talk on the radio, fly the plane, and in case he got hurt. So, yeah, I got about 35 hours. I haven't done it in years, but yeah, I could take the helm if someone said, "Is there a pilot on board?"
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So we got about 6 minutes left, guys. I will plug my show. I greatly want to appreciate both your times. And Fairy Godmother, thank you for taking this at the last minute. I appreciate.
No problem. Sorry I was a bit late.
Oh, no worries at all. Blake, I appreciate all the help you've given me to even put this show together. If it hadn't been for Blake, the show wouldn't even be put together. So I want to.
It's an awesome idea. I love it.
Yeah. He helped me out a lot at the beginning. So you guys, if you don't have these two Faye, definitely go check them out. They're great people. So, I'm your host, Wild West. If you don't know, this is my show, What Would You Do? A little twist this week with the relationships. And it occurs every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. I wanted to take a shout out to some of my gifters that gifted. Let me look real quick. Kelly is my number one. Molly, Blake, C, Pink, Ninja, Hot Cross Buns, and Common Courtesy. Thank you guys. Thank you definitely. Like I said, if you haven't faved both of Top Badge Blake and Fairy Godmother, please do. They're great people. Check them out. They're definitely good people.
Thanks for having me. I had a lot of fun. It was nice to meet you, Blake.
Yes.
Good luck in your search. If you're still single. I don't know if you are.
Couldn't be more single, yeah. Yeah, thanks, Wild West. Thank you so much for having me. Fairy Godmother, you're a blast. So happy to be here. And shout out to K-Baby and Molly, two of my close friends on the app that came and supported. So I appreciate you guys so much. I'm going to be on Scantron's show in the next 4 minutes.
Oh, awesome. I've done that. Yeah,
featured show. So please come support me if you can. Chris Casper and I are going up to go to the finals, I think. We won a couple weeks.
Good luck.
Yes.
Blake, I'll probably close out right after this if Blake's still here. And
I'll pop out. Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, Blake, I'll probably close out for about 30 minutes. Go check out that show. Thank you for the fave. Everyone's telling me to go by his show and check it out. But I appreciate it. Thank you guys. That was a little different twist, Shadow. I thought it was going to be done a lot earlier. Emoji, I'm done. If you want to stop video, I got to remember that. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you. Guys, I'm going to take a little break. I've been on over an hour now. I will be back. Donald Trump, welcome. I will be back probably in 30 minutes. I'm going to go out and support Blake a little bit in his Scantron show. I definitely want to go check that out. All right, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you for stopping in and supporting. Much appreciated.